Welcome everybody to Special Counsel, the Final Five debate. Maybe is joining me as a co-host. Maybe, how's it going?
Hi, hello everyone. It's going great. I'm super excited for this. Can't wait for it to start.
Yeah, so everybody in the audience on Twitter, if you want the full experience, we do have a YouTube link where you can get visuals and video with everybody. And so I do recommend, personally, I prefer the YouTube. So if you're on Twitter, head over to the YouTube. But without further ado, let's set up what's happening today and let's set up some of the stakes of what's going on. So welcome to the Final Five debate on the Damn Show. Before we jump in, let me set the stage. Last week we had a massive election with 17 nominees, and only the top 5 vote getters would move on. There were Captain Trippy, Thread Guy, Karma Pocket, Swickie, and Waabam. Now we're in the second and final round of the election, and there's about 1.6 million votes that are up for grabs. Those are the votes that went to the other candidates that are not in the top 5. And this election is a pivotal one because those 1.6 million votes are going to decide what's going to happen. There's 2 seats up for grabs, and at the time, and right now, Apecoin valuation is at a historic low, and a lot of people are now asking the harder questions. And so many are wondering what's next and how is the special counsel going to help steer the ship. The 2 special counsel members chosen when voting closes on Wednesday, June 28th at 9 p.m. will set the tone for where Apecoin DAO is going for the rest of the year. Let's take a look at the voting as it stands right now. In the lead, we have Captain Trippy with 2.1 million ape. We have Waabam with 1.4 million, Karma Pocket with 1.1 million, and Swickie with 1.1 million as well, and Thread Guy with 324k Apecoin. Now, while that's what it looks like right now, it is confirmed that Mochaverse has allocated a majority of their voting power to Karma Pocket. And so that's going to get Karma Pocket into the lead with 2.85 million votes. So when the stakes are already high, it's now even higher. There's potentially only 1 seat up for grabs. And we're excited to talk to 4 contestants today that are going to be at the debate.
Great. Thank you for explaining that, Atara. So now it's time to welcome the nominees on stage. We know that due to time zone, Karma Pocket couldn't make it, but we have, fortunately, everyone else. We're going to start with Waabam. So a little bit of Waabam's background. So before Web3, Waabam worked at a national Canadian law firm that represented Canada's Northern Territories. He was a lead litigator on cases that received national media attention, working on billion-dollar industry-changing M&A deals. In Web3, he's been involved with the Apecoin DAO for 10 months and now aims to get a seat on the council to make his mark. Let's welcome Waabam. Hi,
Hey,
Wabam.
thanks
How
for
are
having me
you?
on, guys. I'm doing well.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
being.
having me on. Excited to be here.
Okay, so next up we have Swickie. She is the founder of Space Dust HQ and creator of The Other Block, and co-owner of NFTBA. She's also a photographer and visual artist. Professionally, she worked at the Documentary Fund Foundation, where she evaluated proposals, made recommendations based on the fund's mission, and guided proposals through the process and that adhered to 501c3 regulations. Let's welcome to the stage Swickie.
Hello.
Hey, Swickie,
Good
how's it
morning.
going?
Hi.
It's going. Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. Happy to have you. All right, let's go to the next one, which is Captain Trippy. Captain Trippy is a well known ape in the NFT space, amassing a large following of 114,000 people on Twitter. In real life, is a scaled business owner, and he scaled the business from 5 employees to well over 100 in the past 15 years, with multiple divisions and service coverage, all in the southeast of the United States. With his experience, he strongly believes that for an organization to succeed, you need to get the right people in the right seats and to have a strong North Star vision. Let's welcome to the stage Captain Trippy. Hey, Cap, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for hosting us. Excited to be here.
Awesome. And last but
Thank you.
certainly not least, we have Thread Guy. While he did start by writing threads in Web3, most people know him for his infectious energy on Twitter Spaces and has amassed 128K followers. Threadguy is currently an advisor at Yuga Labs, the company behind popular NFT project Jenkins and Azurbola, and he has held the title of Director of Vibes there. He aims to, quote, bring the culture back in Apecoin DAO. Threadguy, how's it going, my friend?
Yo, yo, yo. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for hosting. Excited to be here today.
Amazing.
Thank you guys for being here. So now it's time to explain a little bit how this debate is going to work. So we split the debate into 4 categories, and during each segment, there will either be a specific question that is for one of you, or one that is for everyone. So after everyone has a chance to respond, we'll have a few minutes for an open discussion. So how does that sound for you guys? Good? You
Sounds
guys
great.
good?
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Awesome. So none of you have seen any of these questions beforehand. We want to say that. And we want to tell the audience that if you have a question, you can actually submit your own question. You just have to tweet with the hashtag damn final five debate. And then you tag us the damn show with the final underscore. So the damn show underscore. So without further ado, we ask you guys to prepare like a short welcoming statement. And we're going to start now with Wabam. Your turn.
All right. I'm Waabam. I'm obviously running for special counsel. I'm I'm one of the I was one of the stewards of Working Group Zero. I've worked in the DAO for quite a while. Um, I have a strong vision for the DAO that's really focused on creating use cases for Apecoin. I believe that Ape has the potential to be the coin of metaverse culture and blockchain gaming. And what that means to me is that we see Apecoin used in every major blockchain game, every major metaverse experience. So I've got a vision to help Apecoin achieve that potential, and I've been doing a lot of work in the DAO to help us get there through the creation of working groups, through the creation of the Metaverse Working Group. And I really think that once we build out those use cases and create that utility for Ape, a lot of our other problems are gonna start to be solved. So yeah, I've been here for 10 months. I'm really passionate about the coin, really passionate about the community, really excited about tonight.
Awesome. And let's go to Swickie next.
Hello. I'm Swickie, obviously running for special counsel. I have a lot of nonprofit documentary fund experience where we read proposals, made sure that they adhered to 501c3 regulation, guided them through the process. I was also on finance at the Discovery Channel. I've have a journalism background, so a lot of the way that I interact with people and the reason why I love community so much probably stems from that. The one thing that I would say is that I have both the in real life experience as well as the experience in Web3 to really have a pulse on the community. The entire purpose of this foundation is to administer grants, and I have experience in that. I think that the grants could change the course of Web3, of the Apecoin DAO itself. And I just hope everybody looks at everybody's qualifications in terms of what they bring to the table and make their choices based on that.
Great. And we're going to go to
Awesome.
Captain next.
Hey, Captain Trippy here, running for special counsel. Thank you for hosting us. I've been a long-time active member of the overall ecosystem, both in the Bored Ape Yacht Club and the overall ecosystem at large. I believe very strongly in what the DAO allows us to do in Web3, and we have a platform that has been laid, a foundation that has been laid for us to really drive things forward. The low-hanging fruit is certainly, if you look at the IP maps, ecosystem maps, there's a lot of projects, a lot of businesses that are working in Web3, either with Yuga IP or other project IP. And I think it's extremely important to figure out how we can communicate and collaborate with those folks first, and to be able to incorporate Apecoin, if it makes sense, with them, and just find mutually beneficial ways to do that. Longtime business owner, it's important to me to make sure we get the right people in the right seats with the DAO. And I think we're in a unique opportunity to do that now and really drive things forward.
Great. And last but not least, we have Thread Guy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Thread Guy. Obviously, I'm running for the special counsel here. And I believe that ultimately the Apecoin DAO has lost touch with the culture. I believe the DAO has almost non-existent social presence. I believe the community is unengaged and stagnated. And ultimately, I think there's a severe lack of exciting activations and an ability to capture attention that ultimately leads to the Apecoin DAO almost never being part of the daily discussion in Web3, where narratives are set and ultimately opinions are formed. I believe that I'm the bridge to the talent and the builders the DAO needs to onboard at the top of the funnel to ultimately increase participation in AIPs that move the needle at the bottom of the funnel. I believe I've demonstrated my tangible impact through just 2 weeks of my campaign, with over 350,000 impressions on my thread and a public outpour of support followed from the exact community that the DAO should strive to attract. In my opinion, the special counsel is a 5-member team, and the only way to optimize the special counsel team for success in an opaque role that demands flexibility and versatility is really to maximize strengths and minimize weaknesses. Not only is social impact and community building what I believe is a weakness of the Apecoin DAO, but outside of the few hundred people that are active in the discourse forums and the 90 average listeners in the ApeComs spaces, it doesn't exist. I think my strongest strengths are the council's weakest weaknesses. Ultimately, I believe I'm the only candidate that brings a unique talent and skill set to the special counsel that also fills a major gap in layer of incompetence within the Apecoin DAO. The council does not need additional redundant skills. It needs more coverage and knowledge in untapped verticals.
That was awesome, but your time is up. I'm gonna have to keep you accountable and everybody accountable. It'll be flexible,
Yeah.
but we are gonna make sure we try to stay on time. Okay, great. Those are the opening statements. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, we're gonna jump into the first question, and don't worry, Thread Guy, you're gonna be able to go first. So, just like last election cycle, the topic of special counsel salary came up this time once again. I wanted to get each of your takes on all the discussion around that. Instead of asking you guys if you think the salary is fair, I wanted to ask, have you seen any comments or criticism that you think is a good reflection of the current state? And do you believe that the effort to reduce or redesign the salary that's currently ongoing is a worthy cause? Thread Guy, we're going to go to you first.
Yeah, thanks for the question. And ultimately, I believe the merit of the council position fully justifies the salary that it currently demands. Outside of specific deliverables and public responsibilities, there's obviously a slew of legal risk and compliance efforts that being a member on the special counsel, you have to inherit and take on. And in my opinion, in order to attract the talent, the minds, and really the insight that a member of this special council ultimately needs to put the DAO in the best position for success, it demands a salary and a position of this stature and at this level.
Awesome. Cap, same question for you. Hey, Cap, double check your
Can't
mic.
hear Cap.
Currently, we need clarification around what all the special counsel, maybe some of the behind the scenes work that they're doing. But at the end of the mandate of the council is to protect the DAO and to fulfill the mandate of the community. And so that's the first tenet. And then on top of that, we all have our platforms and our missions that we want to bring to the table. As far as the pay goes, I think it's the right amount. You can argue more, you can argue less. I think it's a good balance of the talent that you would like to attract to the DAO in such a strong leadership position. So I think, yes, I'm running. I think it's the correct pay. The community will certainly get their input on that. But if you want to attract the right talent, the top talent to be able to fulfill these positions, then I do think that there needs to be a certain level of pay for the risk and responsibility that's there.
Great. Swickie, same question. Hey, Swickie.
To who?
Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry, it
Same
cut out. I
question
didn't
for
hear
you.
you.
All good.
Yeah. So yeah, this comes up for the elections. Everybody, discusses all of this, and for me, I think it's a fair pay for the position. As Captain said, there is risk involved. There isn't someone with an idea to slash the pay. I think it's up to the DAO whether they want to do that, because of course this was built for people like Alexis and Yacht, right? So it's up to us to continue the foundational work that they've done. But take into consideration the candidates who are up. There are 2 candidates who said that they would not be willing to do the job if the pay was slashed. Everybody has bills to pay, but I can tell you that I'm not one of them. Although I do have bills to pay, I can afford to still stick by the DAO if that were to happen.
Great. And Waabam, we're going to go to you, and I'm just going to restate the question once more. It's not necessarily, do you think that the salary is fair? It's that, do you see any comments or criticisms that you think, have you seen any comments or criticism around the salary discussion that you think merit consideration?
For sure, I have. I've been in the DAO for a long time, and these aren't new concerns. I had those concerns myself. I've learned more about the role through working with the DAO and through working with special counsel, and I understand it better now. And I do think the pay is relatively appropriate. But I mean, it's like Trippy said. I mean, we have an issue in the DAO where the community doesn't necessarily understand everything the special counsel is doing, or even understand. It's not very clear to a lot of people in the community what special counsel is doing a lot of the time. And so how is the community supposed to judge what appropriate pay is if they don't totally understand, what the job entails? So of course, I think there's fair concerns and fair criticisms. I think it's an important conversation. I know that the foundation, they're trying to put out more clarifications around the role, and hopefully that comes out soon. And hopefully that will help the community, as it sort of grapples with what it thinks is an appropriate salary for special counsel.
Fantastic.
Great, thank you, Waabam. So yeah, thank you everyone for answering this question. If any of you wants to respond, you have something to comment on one of your colleagues' answer, now is the moment. If we're good, we can move on.
I think we're good. I think we've answered the salary question. Okay, so love the enthusiasm. A lot of different answers there. Let's move on to the next part. So, are you guys familiar with the rocks, pebbles, and sand story? And if you're not, it's a prioritization framework. Essentially, if you have a jar that you need to fill with rocks, pebbles, and sands, the best way to make it all fit is to start by putting in the big rocks, and then the pebbles, and then lastly the sand. And so the question is, and we'll start with you, Waabam, this time. When it comes to your special counsel term, what will be your rocks, your pebbles, and sand?
Yeah, so what I would like to see the DAO really focus on is use cases for Apecoin. And to be clear, as special counsel, I can't just wave a magic wand and do this myself. This requires the effort of the whole DAO. But as a steward of the DAO, as a steward of Apecoin, that is where the direction I want to see the DAO going. And those, I like the analogy of the rocks, the pebbles, and the sand, because use cases are what is going to give a purpose. If they're going to, once there's things to do with it, once there's a reason to hold it, more people will hold it. We'll onboard people. You can have token locks. It'll be beneficial to the treasury, beneficial to everybody. It's how we'll grow the ecosystem. And then other things fall after that. I mean, what for me, I suppose you could call it. My rocks would be coordinating with the working groups, coordinating with other parts of the DAO to make sure that that we have growth and onboarding happening. Hopefully the marketing and communications working group gets to get off the ground and hire a growth and marketing team, a treasury working group that can look at sustainability of the treasury. And then for me, my pebbles would be, I want to see special council members propose their own improvements to the DAO. And I've got a number of AIPs that are in development right now that will hopefully go to vote soon. But I'd like to see special council members continue to do that. So those are my pebbles, and my time's up.
And your time is up. Okay, Cap, we're going to go to you next. Same question. What are your rocks, pebbles, and sands when it comes to prioritizing what you want to do in your term?
That's a great question, and I think this is where business experience comes in. I run my organization and have for a long time to be able to have a yearly goal and then break it down to quarterly rocks to achieve those goals. And so the rocks really are the key things that you're focusing on, kind of your North Stars. For me currently, and I certainly want to see behind the scenes to solidify these, but it's to continue to push for more Apecoin usage across the overall ecosystem. I want to see more cross-community collaboration, open dialogue, outreach to other communities. As far as the pebbles and sand, I think a lot of those will come out of the rocks. And so as you establish your rocks, a lot of times those pebbles and sand tasks and things start becoming more and more aware. And so for me right now, it's very much being focused on the big picture, the vision of the DAO, pushing those rocks forward, increasing Apecoin usage, and getting our message out. So certainly one of the rocks is to improve the outreach and communication exponentially. I would say right now that the outreach and communication is close to non-existent. I don't think that necessarily has to be one person's position. I think it's something that the leadership of the special counsel brings to the table and can facilitate a much better way of outreach and communication that we have now.
Awesome. And Thread Guy, same question to you. What are your rocks, pebbles, and sand? What are you going to be prioritizing?
Ultimately, Atari, in my opinion, in order to optimize this DAO for success, we need to expand the bottom of the funnel, which I believe is past AIPs that genuinely move the needle and push the vision of the DAO forward. And the only way to do that is to expand the top of the funnel, which is the brand presence, is the social platform. It's the ability to connect with the builders and the talent that the DAO needs to onboard in order to fund proposals and leverage ideas to ultimately push this DAO, the vision, and the entire space forward. Right now, as it currently stands, there's a major disconnect, in my opinion, on outreach and awareness within the DAO. Quite frankly, the community can't be onboarded or participated in what we're doing if they don't know that it's happening. I believe that I act as quite literally the bridge to the exact culture and the exact community builders and talent that is essential for the Apecoin DAO to onboard, to then fund and leverage their ideas to ultimately push forward and expand awareness and the growth within the Apecoin DAO.
And last but not least, Swickie, same question to you. How will you be prioritizing? What are your rocks, pebbles, and sand?
For me, I think I have a little bit of a different perspective. I think my rocks are the foundational element of the position. And the position is to make sure that you are making the best judgments and decisions for the community as far as regulatory and compliance, and also to serve the vision of the DAO. That is the foundation of this position, right? The pebbles for me are the things that have been discussed, which are working groups. But I do believe that the working groups are the pebbles, but there are a lot of different colored pebbles, right? We have communications, we have marketing, we have the metaverse working group. It is super important, I agree, to have real use case beyond the meta even, because we should be kind of like working in conjunction and moving in parallel to figure out how to bring use case in real life to Apecoin. Otherwise, we're building all of these structures and all of these things, but then perhaps maybe no one will use it beyond just gaming. And gaming, of course, is a huge, huge undertaking. And, you know, we could probably get pretty far, but as you know, gaming takes a long time to develop in several types of ways, right? So, you know, to get thinking on the in real life stuff, I think would be super important. And then for me, the sand would be to sprinkle in, hopefully, as we get all these pebbles in place and people do onboard, to sprinkle in all of the, as Bored Ape G says, the sparkle, right? To grow in a way that is beyond Web3, to grow in a way that is beyond just the DAO, so that we can make an impact out there.
Awesome. Great answers, guys. So, yeah, like it's interesting to hear that you have different priorities depending on your background and what you believe in most. But now it's the open response period again. So, if you heard something that you agree or disagree with, if you want to comment if whatever one of your other, you know, the other nominees said, this is the time. I think they're good.
Disagree? Do you want us to ask each other questions?
No, just any.
No,
Is there
if you
anything,
agree or
something?
disagree,
Oh.
if there is something that someone else said that you're like, I don't really think that this is the moment to actually jump in, but I know you want to be in peace. So.
No, I mean, I think like we all respect each other on here, so I think we're good to ask each other questions, right? I'm just actually curious, genuinely, from Thread Guy, how your platform would like fit in, as you said, to these pebbles. Like, how do you think that like your crowd or you know, the people that you have come in would genuinely have longevity in the DAO? Like, are they interested in putting in AIP stuff like that?
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Swickie. And look, ultimately, this is a grand DAO, and it's the Apecoin's DAO responsibility to attract the top talent, the top ideas, and the top innovation, and ultimately fund their ideas to push the DAO and the vision forward. As it currently stands, there's a couple hundred people that are actively engaged in the community discourse forums, and another 90 to 100 that participate in the ApeCom's Twitter spaces. Outside of those two platforms, that are essentially non-existent in the grand scheme of Web3 culture, news, and daily experiences. The vision and the idea, the concept of the DAO is stuck within the silo. It doesn't extend anywhere else to any other airwaves or any other chambers within the Web3 space. And ultimately, if we continue to have an inability to reach the talent and reach the builders that we need to bring real innovation, to bring real change and real progress to this DAO, we're going to continue to be stuck as a hamster spinning the same wheel with the same couple hundred people floating around the same ideas. And ultimately, the only way to bring on new community and to strike innovation is to reach the culture cultivators and the ideas guys that can genuinely make an impact. So in my opinion, it isn't about what one-off person's proposal is or what their proposal is there, but the general idea that the message of the Apecoin DAO has to extend beyond the discourse forums and the 100 people in the Twitter space, or it's quite literally putting a lid on the jar by ourselves to never allow this DAO to grow and continue to be stagnated with the same community that has been here from day one.
Okay, and maybe
I would
before
like
you
to
go,
add something. I'd like to add something to that.
please.
So, you know, I know he mentioned ApeComs and some other channels. ApeComs is not an official channel of the DAO. It's something that certain community members have put forth and started. So I wouldn't measure ApeComs as a failure of the DAO. I would say that the DAO, in my opinion, needs to reach out to space hosts that have large audiences, such as Thread Guy and others, the Damn Show, and to be in front of those audiences consistently, and to lean into the messaging that we already have with the DAO on our website. And I think we've done a very, very poor job of getting those messages out. So one instance of this is one Apecoin is all you need to be a participant in the DAO. And if you ask most people, they don't realize this. And to be this far into the DAO and that message not out yet is something that has to be clarified. But I don't think it's one person, one's voice that has to do that. I think it has to be something that's spread across the ecosystem as a whole. And I like Apecoms. I like the people working on Apecoms. They're hard workers, but it's not an official statement or station of the DAO.
Great. And
if I could
Thread,
jump in and add one more comment.
20 seconds, Thread Guy.
Cool. In response to Trippy, I just wanted to say that the comment was not meant to be a shot at Apecoms. I know it's not official communicator of the Apecoin DAO, and I think they do a great job. But ultimately, the point I'm trying to get across is, as it currently stands, that is the method of communication to the outside world, and it is not doing a sufficient job in spreading the message and encouraging and attracting the talent and community members that we need.
But okay, your time's up. And so I just want
to need to lean into the Apecoin Twitter account to get our message out, and as well as other leaders within the industry.
Great. And I want to clarify one specific thing just as a comment earlier, and maybe we'll proceed. It's not about I just want to make it clear, this isn't about, disrespecting anybody or anything like that, but I think the purpose of this debate is to there's a lot of different philosophies that each of you guys bring, and it's to highlight where the differences lie and like where there's agreement and disagreement so that people know who and what they were voting for. And so I love the discussion that just happened here, and like we encourage more of that. Maybe go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's yours.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna remind everybody. Please tweet at the Damn Show with the Damn Show underscore with the hashtag Final Five debate, and we'll try to get some questions later tonight. But now we're gonna move on to some head-to-head questions, and so we're gonna ask a pair the same question, and each will have a few minutes to respond.
Yes, and yeah, this because we didn't know if you were gonna debate, so we're gonna force you to debate. I'm joking. But anyway, so we start with the Thread Guy and Captain Trippy. So this is the first head-to-head. So you both have the two largest audiences on Twitter of the people that are nominees for this position. So we got 128,000 for Thread Guy and 114,000 for Captain Trippy. We start with Thread Guy. So a large part of your bid is centered on you having this following hosting spaces, while Captain Trippy has a similar audience, but his main strength is experience. It's not that he hosts spaces and things like this. So Thread Guy, what would you say to a critic that says that hosting spaces and having an audience isn't enough to do the special counsel job?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And the first point I want to get across is not to put too much emphasis on the follower metric, because ultimately it's not about audience, it's about impact. And the impact is where we need to emphasize the importance of how this vision can really be spread, not from followers alone. Ultimately, I believe that I'm the bridge to this culture and the community that we need to onboard. I believe that in order to genuinely bring on new talent and attract outside contributors and ideas into this DAO, we need to have direct access to reach these people. It extends well beyond influence within just the ape community, even influence within the NFT community. Like, we need access, we need information, we need channels to hit the airwaves of the tech space at large to encourage the talent and encourage the ideas that we need to bring into this DAO that can make a standing impact. And ultimately, it's not about audience, it's about the impact that you can have. And I believe in just the 2 weeks since I've started my campaign, posted my threads, and hosted my first couple Twitter spaces on the election, the campaign itself, I've demonstrated a tangible impact that you can gauge off metrics and really judge success off the impact that I've shown so far.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now we go to Cap. So we mentioned that you, Captain Trippy, also have a large following, but you're not as active as Thread Guy in hosting spaces, and you participate in a lot of spaces, but you're not a host. So what do you think about hosting spaces as a special council member? Is that an important thing? And if you're not going to host spaces, how do you think it's the best way to engage the community at large into the Apecoin DAO?
Yeah, so I think hosting spaces, certainly I'm capable of hosting spaces and reaching a wide audience. As far as the overall reach goes, I'd say that my job over the last year hasn't been to host spaces and reach out to other communities, and that's not a shot at Thread Guy. I mean, I have a lot of respect for what he does and for the community outreach that he has. I think he has a tremendous reach. I've been a community member and an active participant, and if I can get more reach when and if it's needed. And so as a community council member, hosting spaces will certainly be part of that. So that will be both on the Apecoin Twitter page, and it'll also be going to other leaders within the industry, such as Thread Guy and others, the Damn Show, to get that messaging out and have it consistent. So again, a lot of respect for Thread Guy and what he does as a community leader. But the job for the special counsel isn't hosting spaces; it's to do the will of the DAO, and at the end of the day, to protect the DAO. And so that is the core tenet. And there's certainly I would say, a difference in responsibility and experience in that department. Yeah, I think we're going to do a good job of getting the message out now.
Great. Okay, we're going to get Waabam and Swickie up for the next one. So, Waabam, Swickie, appears you guys have there's some philosophical differences between you two when it comes to understanding the special counsel responsibilities. And so I'm referring to two separate threads that were put out. Waabam, let's start with yours. And so in your thread, you said, what do you think would happen if Apecoin got a Wells notice from the SEC, or if the IRS taxed the DAO treasury? The role of special counsel is to prevent this from happening. Let me explain the role to you. Once you get it, it'll be very obvious why I'm the best candidate. So, Waabam, what leads you to believe that this could be a potential reality and that your law experience here is the right fit?
Well, I mean, it could be a potential reality because it's happening all around crypto, right? I mean, we see the SEC pursuing various crypto projects. We see Wells notices arriving on crypto projects' desks. They're normally projects who are a couple years older than Apecoin is right now, but it's a very real possibility. Thankfully, we've had a good team and special counsel that have been working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen to Apecoin, but it could happen. And the same thing with the Treasury and the IRS, and that could be a catastrophe. It could be catastrophic for the DAO. So, why do I think I can help? Look, the Ape Foundation's got great lawyers, right? We've got Fenwick and West. They're the best in the business. So the special counsel doesn't need in-house counsel. But what I can do is I can bring years of experience of working in the legal environment, working in the regulatory environment, and I bring that skill set and that knowledge, that familiarity with law and with regulations, so that when the special counsel members have to make difficult decisions, when legal matters come up and we're as a team debating amongst ourselves, the other members can lean on me and say, hey, Waabam, what do you think? Right? Because legal counsel, the Ape Foundation legal will give options, but special counsel has to make decisions. And I know that the other members who may not have as much experience in legal matters can lean on me, and I will help us come to a better decision together.
Okay. And so, Swickie, you had a thread of your own that said, don't let any candidates scare you into thinking the council cannot function without them. The DAO is for everyone. The roles are to, the role of special counsel is to open people up the role of special counsel is to open to people with integrity, good judgment, able to collaborate, and trustworthy. No specific background required. We have all worked alongside legal to mitigate risk. In essence, it sounds like you, in a sense, disagree with what Waabam is saying. I wanted to just give you an opportunity to expand on this perspective.
I don't disagree with it. What I don't agree with is saying that this DAO cannot operate without a single person. Do all of us have specialties? Absolutely. We have legal counsel on the foundation. We're not going to be telling them what to do. We're going to be collaborating alongside them, right? So in essence, last week, for example, when we were on Spaces, there's two legal guys on there, and they essentially pretty much said, well, I would pick each other because we're the most professional. I don't see it that way. There's business people here. We've all had our own businesses. We've all done our own things. I don't think that being a lawyer essentially is the only professional position that exists. We all have our specialties, and I think that we can all bring them to them. Because essentially, are they essentially saying that Jerry and Vera and Bored Ape G have not done a good job? Yacht and Alexis are not attorneys, yet they have made a lot of decisions based on their experience as well. So for me, this is more of what other perspectives can we bring? Sure, like legal perspective is always welcome. We have Bored Ape G who does a lot of the sifting through that, right? And so for me, like I am basically an artist founder perspective that is currently not on the council, and I think that is valuable.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So we are going to move to another part of the debate. We're actually at the tail end of this. So now it's the single question period. So each one of you will be asked a question that is tailored for you. And you have like a few minutes to respond. I think 1.5 each. So we start with Captain Trippy. So, Cap, you're touted as a strong voice in the community. Your business experience and acumen is undeniable, but some people argue that the experience running and scaling a business doesn't necessarily translate to success in the DAO, because the DAO, it's a decentralized entity. So the point is, working in an organization without a top-down structure is very different than the experience that you had in the past. What would you say to these people?
I'm sorry, maybe you rugged on me at the very end there. Yes.
All right. So the point is that some people say that working in an organization that has a top-down structure, like your business, is very different than working in a DAO. So how do you defend yourself from these statements?
Yeah, I mean, a top-down structure in a business, is certainly different from the DAO, but I do think that, experience, leadership, good judgment, decision-making, all of those things translate over to a DAO. And at the end of the day, we're not running the DAO. So we're not, this is not a CEO position. This is it's in a way, it's a board seat. Certainly we have influence. And we all have our platforms of things we want to improve, and certainly can use some influence to do that. But at the end of the day, it's bottom up, and it is the responsibility of the community to propose AIPs, for us to then review those AIPs for legal risk and to protect the will of the DAO. And so I've got decade plus of experience dealing with industries of high regulation, reviewing legal documents. No, I'm not an attorney, but when you deal day to day with businesses, especially one that's in a highly regulated industry, you deal with this stuff on a day-to-day basis. And so while the organization is not top down, it's still an organization. You're still dealing with people. You still have to get the right people in the right seats, and making sure that you can help facilitate those things. So I don't really see that argument.
Great. Okay, so Waabam, we're going to go to you next. So, like Swickie mentioned, having law expertise isn't the only skill set required to succeed at special counsel. And because you're working on a team, you can lean on each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I'll specifically mention that because there are other members that have legal experience on the special counsel, and there's also the Fenwick team that you mentioned as well. So, beyond your legal expertise, what other things do you say you bring to the table that makes you a great special counsel member?
Well, I bring great judgment. I have experience making difficult decisions. A lot of what special counsel does is they have to take a proposal that has some benefit to the DAO, but may may create some kind of risk for the DAO, whether it's legal or financial or brand or operational. And they have to weigh it. They have to say, is the potential benefit of this proposal worth the potential risk? And those decisions could involve like massive amounts of the treasury. The implications could have a huge impact on Apecoin DAO and its future. And I have experience doing that. I have experience. I spent years working at a national accounting law firm with high-profile clients. I had to advise clients on matters that would make or break billion-dollar transactions. In my years of experience in court, I had to make decisions that could result in the client, either being in jail or not being in jail. So I've been in high pressure situations, and I've had to make decisions that are very difficult, and I have a track record of doing that, and I can bring that to the council, as well as a passion for Apecoin. I'm not gonna just review AIPs, do my basic job, and then go home at the end of the day. I live and breathe this project, this coin, this community. I've been passionate about transferring real world wealth out of virtual worlds and virtual economies since I was a kid. I've got a lot to offer beyond just legal expertise to this DAO. And the final point I'll make is I know the DAO inside out, having been working very closely with special counsel for a long time. So I bring that knowledge and that expertise in the DAO as well.
Great. Thank you, Waabam. So let's move to Swickie. This is your tailored question. So we cannot deny that you have a very diverse background, from lobbying in Washington, D.C., academia, branding, evaluating proposals. And there is this saying that says, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. What's the best case for the argument that all of these different experiences sets you up to succeed in this role and to actually achieve outcomes?
That's a great question. Just in the last spaces I was in, I was talking about how my production background, because I worked in production and post, you are constantly exposed to different personalities, different dynamics, different things that need to be done. I've had all sorts of types of jobs, but that's because a lot of times opportunity would present itself and I would take it, because as you know, like if you're not growing, then what are you doing, right? So as far as what I can bring to the DAO in that sense is, I think all of those things have prepared me for this moment. Actually, the DAO works very much like a lot of the environments that I have worked in before. I feel that all of my specialized things, like working at a grants foundation, working in production, all of these things came together to kind of fit this special counsel position. On top of that, I've heard the other candidates say, sorry, there's feedback, by the way. I've heard those special candidates say that, I lost my train of thought. Whatever I was going to say, but essentially, I think that I'm very prepared for this role. I think that working with the community too, all of the events we've done had liability, we've had to work with legal. So I think it all just kind of comes together in this one position, and it's a continuation of my work here.
Great. And last question is for Thread Guy in this section. Okay, so Thread Guy, there was a comment left in discourse in the special counsel thread, and it had a considerable number of likes. And it said, I think spaces and onboarding is generally extremely important for the DAO to onboard and educate about current AIPs. But I personally do not think that it is the job for special counsel, as I think the best use case or the best use for filling those seats are for community members who can aid in the process of working in infrastructure, making sure AIPs are compliant, and things of that nature. I feel like you wanted to pass an AIP to do a media campaign. That would be a better use of your skill set. What would you say? How would you respond to that comment? And I'll summarize it really quickly. Essentially, it's saying your skill set might be better used as an AIP author with media rather than special counsel.
Yeah, thanks for the question. And I think the biggest misconception that I want to make clear right now is that the only value prop I bring is a Twitter space. There's way too much emphasis being put on Twitter spaces in one Twitter space specifically, and a complete oversight of what social impact is and the value that can come from extending a line to reach the community and ultimately allow community members to be heard. The way I look at this special counsel, it's a 5-member team. We aren't stacking 5 individuals with the highest skill set in one specific area. We're trying to optimize to maximize as many strengths as possible and minimize as many weaknesses as possible. We know through the opaque nature of what the special counsel role entails and the uncertainty in the DAO space at large, this team needs to be dynamic. This team needs to be versatile, and it needs to cover as many avenues as possible. And with that being said, as a contributor to a team, I believe that I'm the only candidate that brings a unique skill set that isn't already covered on the special counsel. And my strongest strength is the council's weakest weakness that ultimately optimizes as many different avenues as possible and sets the DAO up for success for any situation that comes its way, whether it's compliance, whether it's media, whether it's legal, or any other avenue that comes towards the DAO.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you guys for answering your tailored questions. So now we have a question for everyone. So we see a lot of enthusiasm when you're going for a position, but we know that the reality is that 3 out of your 5 are not going to make it. But there are many other opportunities in the DAO. So in one sentence, will you commit today to being involved with the DAO even if the voting doesn't go the way you want to?
Waabam, let's start with you.
Hell yes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I absolutely. Sorry, I absolutely will. I mean, I've been working in the DAO for ages. I'm not going to disappear if I don't get this role. I do think it's the best. It's the best match for me. It fits my skill set, and I can do the most. I can have the most effect and do the most good in the DAO in this role. But I'm not going anywhere.
Swickie.
I'm sorry that I hijacked you. Yes, I see a lot of avenues. There's a lot of places for all of us. Every one of us, again, has a lot of things to bring to the table. And for me, I really see probably marketing and comms, like in real life things, real use case adoption related to those things coming into play for me. So I'm not going anywhere. I feel like, I've landed in a place where I see that we can all grow together. And so I'm actually really excited. I think that there's a lot that we can do here together.
And before Cap, you go ahead. Waabam, I know you had a hard stop at 5 p.m. If you have to jump out now, please go ahead.
I do. Thanks, everybody. This was great.
Thanks, Waabam.
Bye, Waabam. Captain, your turn.
Yeah, I think my track record speaks to that. I've been an active participant in the DAO for the very beginning, more so in discourse in the last 6 to 7 months. So I don't plan on going anywhere. I will say this about the 5 candidates that are remaining. Yes, only 2 get selected. If we were the 5 special counsel, I think that it's an incredible team and we could do fantastic things. So at the end of the day, it's just picking who we think is best for the job. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Great. And
great. That guy.
Yeah, thank you. And in short, my answer is absolutely. I want to make it very clear that I'm fully aware of all of my options to participate in different avenues within the DAO, but I specifically chose and targeted the special counsel because that's the position that I feel like my skill set can have the most genuine, tangible impact on the DAO. However, I believe that through my campaign, it's been a public case study for what I bring to the DAO in the skill sets that I add to an already flourishing ecosystem. And if it's not on the special counsel, I know for a fact that I can have a real impact and plan to have a real impact on the DAO moving forward.
Awesome. Guys, we're in the last couple of minutes of this. First of all, thank you guys so much for all the great answers to the questions that we had for you. We tried to make this very specific and so the audience can understand each of your skill sets and strengths and what you aim to do if elected into this position. Unfortunately, we don't have any time for audience questions, but I didn't want to give a couple of minutes to each of you guys as a closing statement before we wrap this down. So let's start with you, Captain Trippy.
Sure. First of all, it's been a joy. It's been an incredible experience running for this position. I've been able to meet new community members that I haven't had a chance to meet one on one before. Get to know people in a more personal manner, strengthen relationships that I've already had, listen to the community, and so it really has given me, even more excitement for the possibility to be able to do this for 12 months for the community and to really dive in deep and to truly make a bigger impact on our overall ecosystem. Obviously, I've been a part of our space for a very long time, and I have been able to assist in different ways, with different teams. But this is, an opportunity for me to what I feel like is for me to have the right person in the right seat that fits for me within the DAO and within special counsel. And so, as an experienced leader of an organization, I feel like I can bring good judgment, level head. I think a lot of the things that you've seen from me over the last 2+ years on Twitter is from a personality standpoint, from an outreach standpoint. You can continue to see from me, and even like take that to a whole nother level. So there's certainly been times where I've been able to that I've reached out to communities in a much bigger way than potentially the last 3, 4, 5 months in the space. But the ability is there, and I'm excited for the opportunity. And I hope that that you all see that as a community, and that I get the opportunity to make a difference on special counsel. So thank you for your time.
Awesome. And I just want to make a little, there's a comment from Jerry that background is atrocious. Of course, that's the ever never ending orange versus aqua battle going on.
I did that for you, Jerry. Thanks.
And last but definitely not least, Thread Guy. Same thing for you. Closing statements that you want to leave everybody with in the audience.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Atari. And ultimately, the way I'm thinking about this is I'm approaching the special counsel as optimizing the team. And I said it a couple times, I'm going to say it again. In order to optimize a team in a role that is opaque, such as the special counsel and covers so many verticals, you need to maximize strengths and minimize weaknesses. And unless you are 100% satisfied with the Apecoin DAO and its production up until this point, then you at some level believe that there's a need for new ideas, new faces, and new perspectives within the DAO. I believe that the only way to increase the reach, to reignite the Apecoin DAO and onboard the builders and the talent ultimately that we can fund and use our leverage and grants to propel the Apecoin DAO forward is to insert a bridge at the first layer that has access to connect and to reach with the people that we are attempting to onboard. And ultimately, I believe that I'm that bridge.
Great. And sorry, I did not mean Thread Guy. The last Swickie, you do, of course, get a closing statement as well.
Thank you. As it stands, we face the challenge of breaking that psychology that we are BAYC centric. The DAO is for everyone as long as they hold Ape. And so the only way to really sustainably accomplish this is to expand the community. Communication and education are needed. Incentive to build within the Apecoin DAO is needed, and not just with the creators that we have at the moment, but from different communities as well, right? So we need to be ultra inclusive about that. In a year from now, I really hope that all the people who are doers are here in the DAO creating alongside of each other. I hope that we'll have smoother and more effective governance. And if you're looking for a candidate who has both sides of the aisle, I truly believe I am that person. I have both all of the grant foundation background. I've worked in many dynamic environments. I know how to be professional. I know when to shut up. I know when to say things. I know I have a pulse on the community, and I'm pretty in tune with their vision, and of course, following anything that the DAO decides to put forth. And like we've been saying many times, good judgment is imperative. And I believe I've demonstrated that here in my last 2 years. So I just want to thank you for having us, and good luck to the candidates.
Guys, we're at the very end of it. Thank you guys so much for everybody coming on and making this making this work, and sticking through any lag issues or anything like that. We appreciate you guys. Hope we weren't too hard on you guys with the questions, but I hope that the community got what they were looking for when it comes to understanding each of you guys and your platforms. There is only 2 spots and there's 2 days left. Maybe do you have any thoughts before we let the candidates go?
I want to tell all of them thank you for being here and good luck. I know this is very important for each one of you. So yeah, however it's gonna go, you guys have been very very committed to this, and we'll see how it goes. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, professional through and through. Thank you everybody for coming and watching, and thank you Thread Guy, Captain, Waabam, and Swickie. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Okay, maybe. Wow. So that was. How do you feel? That was quite the debate. I think people enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it so much, and it's so nice to see their faces. Like I don't
Yes.
know, it's just like sometimes when you really want to trust someone, you just need to see their faces. It was just like a very very nice debate in general. I liked also that there was a little bit of a spiciness at one point, which is it has to
Well,
be. If there are some disagreement, it needs to be there, obviously, and we know that they all have strong personalities. So
yeah. I wanna just highlight. Jerry made a comment. There's a space for Apecoin tonight as well, where they're gonna roast them. Sarah also had a great graphic. Maybe I'm not sure if you're able to pin to the top of the Twitter space right now for everybody that's listening. There's a great graphic by
yeah,
Sarah.
I can go
Um,
do it.
there's a great graphic that highlights all the different spaces that are going to be going on for the next couple of days. It's going to be right down to the wire, and we mentioned it earlier, and we'll go through what voting looks like right now as of this minute. And Board Ape G saying the damn show not shying away from the tough questions. Thank you, Board Ape G. Of course, you were on our last iteration of this. Maybe it also reminded me a little bit of when we were 10KTF captains and we had a debate on who should get our votes last August. So I got a similar vibe. It was interesting to go up against my co-hosts. My
Yeah,
co-hosts in a position where only one person could win. And I think that was the purpose here, is that while we're all friends, while we're all going to be respectful to each other, the reality is there's 5 nominees and there's only 2 spots. And it does look like Karma might have locked in 1 spot with just the Mochaverse on its own.
yeah.
Do you have do you have did you get a chance to pin that tweet so everybody that's listening is able
I
to?
pinned the tweet. I pinned the tweet. And yeah, guys, you can go check there. There are all the spaces. Thank you so much, Sarah. That's an amazing tweet, an amazing graphic. And yeah, I encourage everyone to listen to each one of these spaces if you have the time, obviously, if you can do it before you actually vote, or like while you can always change the vote. That's what I like about the snapshot. You change your mind, you can go and change your vote. So anyway, listen to these things, get informed, because it's very important to make the best decision.
Yeah, and let's take a look at voting, how it's going on right now. So there are 3 days left, and I want to highlight. You know what? It's not. I might be overselling it when I say he might have it for a lock, because I think last time there was a Twitter space at the very end of the election close to it, and I believe it was Degentraland was flipped last minute. So anything can literally happen. But as it stands right now, we have Captain Trippy in the lead with 2.2 million ape, which is 35%. We have Waabam with 1.4 million, which is 23%. Karma Pocket with 1.2, and of course, he potentially might have the 1.85 million lock there. But until the vote is in, nothing is done. And then we have Swickie with 1.1, and then Threadguy with 324k ape. I also want to say I put out a tweet the other day, and I think
Yeah,
this is a
I
strategy.
wanted to bring it up too.
Oh yeah. Should I go to the tweet?
Yeah, bring it up,
Okay,
it's spicy.
let me pin to the top of this Twitter space. And for everybody listening, we're going to talk a little bit more for the elections, and then we're going to switch to just a short 10 or so minutes about 10 KTF, and they have a little voting going on there. And so we're going to talk a little bit longer about Apecoin Special Council, and then we're going to switch over. We thank you everybody for that came here. If you like what you saw, please follow the damn show. We do it every Thursday and every Monday, and Subscribe on YouTube. Of course, that helps us. The tweet that I'm referring to, and I'm just pinning it up to the top of the Twitter space right now, and let me pull it up on my stream here as well, is to me it looks like Thread Guy. Let me try to find it just here. Here we go. I said I'm calling it right
Money.
now. Not Thread Guy with 53K votes is a marketing play. He had 53K at that time. Later this week, his supporters will vote for him all at once and cause Twitter to tweet about the crazy comeback, which leads to more attention and more votes. And so we didn't get a chance to ask Thread Guy if this is true or not on the actual on the actual debate, but I have a feeling, and that's how I would have done it if I'm thinking about special counsel and I want to make like a big comeback story. That's how I would do it personally. Maybe what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, two things. First, now that you brought it up, maybe they're gonna ask him later in the Apecoin space. It will be interesting to know if you guys, if you guys want to ask that. And second thing, you said this is what I would do. I would say this is what you did. This is what we did.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the damn show strategy, and that's how we won our AIP. It was not like it didn't go. It was not planned at the beginning, but it's how we use the comeback story to tell a story and then win our AIP. So I understand because it kind of works, and if Drag Guy is doing that, it's not a bad strategy. It worked for us.
Well, there's definitely going to be a huge lead. Jesus is saying Sandbox has approximately 0.5 million votes as well, and they've come in last minute at other times. And so these types of elections really do, I think, bring out all the voters where last minute, it's not over till it's over, 9:01 p.m.
Yes.
on Wednesday night. That's when voting ends Eastern time. So if you're listening, there's a lot more spaces that are going to be going on this week. Check out Sarah's pinned tweet to see what's going on. I'll highlight a few of them right now. So we have the Apecoin one that's happening later today at 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Pacific. We have NFT Bark, who has a space. It's an open invitation to anybody that's on special counsel. That's going to be 7 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. PST. Tomorrow we have a Twitter space by Farouk that's happening at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's Tuesday. There's a space by Leap at 7 p.m. on Tuesday as well. The debate starts at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have one more, Dao Quan Do, which is books. He has a space starting at 4 p.m. PST Wednesday. And it looks like that space is going to go till the very end, 9 p.m. So it's looking like that's going to be a marathon, 5 hours on a Twitter space to maybe decide, maybe flip somebody. Nobody knows, who knows. And so to all the special counsel members, I'm sure you guys already know this, but showing up is honestly half the battle, if not more. And so we encourage everybody to do as much as you can. It's 3 days for the next 6 months is how I like to think about it. So yeah, maybe any more thoughts about Apecoin before we switch this thing over to a little bit of 10KTF and see what's going on down there?
Yeah, just wanted to say that this is very exciting. I'm probably going to participate in that last, listen to that last Twitter space. And one more thing I want to say, thank you so much to all the people, beside the people that watched, obviously, thank you so much for watching, but for all the people that commented in chat here on YouTube and for complimenting the show and the production. Thank you so much, guys. That really means a lot. We do this because we care about you and we want to bring the best show possible every time. Thank you so much for that.
And we're seeing all the love on Twitter as well. Maybe this is our first time that we did a live stream with the Twitter space, and so I think you can expect more of that as we do this. Now, okay, the Blazers are going to come off. I'm going to change the title of this Twitter space, guys. The formality is over, and it's time to get a little bit degen. Let's check out what's happening down on over in 10KTF land, and let me go ahead and introduce the segment as always. Just like that, it's now a 10
All
KTF
right.
space. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, maybe I'm changing the title of this Twitter space as well so everybody knows we're officially done with the Apecoin. But why don't you give, while I do that, why don't you give people that are listening and watching a bit of an overview on like what's happening in 10KTF right now?
Ah, you mean the whole thing?
No, just
Every
just just the
time
last few days.
is
Just the
that
last few
this?
days.
Yeah. I was just joking, like, because we have this joke going on that's explained that KTF it would take you like 3-4 days, but in the past 2 weeks, 10KT the 10KTF community has been involved into a couple of votes. We know that season 2 of 10KTF is happening in the past, so Wagmi-san is actually younger here, and we have Marshall Howen, which is a marshal that takes care of the region, and they divided the 10 KTF area, let's say, in the global regions, the global region in 4 regions. We have Europe, we have North America, we have Asia Pacific, and then we have Latin America. So the first week that they introduced this, they created new channels on Discord, and they made us vote on a name for each of the 4 regions, which are called chapters, right? So we got 4 chapters. We had to decide on a name for each chapter. So that happened past week, and we decided on Monday. I can give you quickly also the names to just remind everyone how it happened. Asia Pacific chose New Tokyo Kaiju Babysitter. Europe chose a Euro Hub. Latin America chose Lambo, which is, I don't remember the whole thing. Metaverse Battalion something. Sorry, guys, I don't have it in front of me. But it's Latin America, Metaverse, Battalion. I don't know if it's organization or operation, something like that. Sorry. And then North America, it's NASA, North America Structure Alliance.
Yeah, and so there's a deadline that's coming in 40 minutes or so for everybody to submit a logo. I want to just let everybody know we're not
Second
going to be,
vote was the logo, yeah.
yeah,
Just to
we're only
complete
going to
what
be,
I was saying, second vote is the logo, which is this week, and people started to submit in this past 3 days. So now we're gonna see which ones are the logos or symbols, as they say, that we're gonna have for each chapter.
yeah, and so there's been a lot of logo suggestions. We're not gonna shepherd too much of what's happening here. We recommend everybody to jump in the Discord to help assist with what the logos are going to look like. You can see a bunch of suggestions in each specific thread, but check out there's kaijus in Asia Pacific. There is a very unfamiliar logo called Eurohub. I've never seen that before. You have Latin America with the soccer ball, and then with North American Structure Alliance, you have a bunch of different icons as well. So if you guys are watching this and you're in 10KTF, jump into the Discord and go there right now. Maybe I know we said we're not going to spend too much time because we do have to run, but is there any closing thoughts that you want to say with regards to 10KTF and let everybody know and generally?
Well, just that I'm loving all of the submissions. I think, yeah, as you said, some of those have been already decided. There is some that we're about to close on all of them. Also, North America looks good. I just wanted to say that this was a nice way to engage community in this period where we're waiting for Battletown, because they dropped the date. They dropped that it's going to be middle of July, and what are we gonna do until then? You have to engage the community in while we wait, because everybody's just thinking Battletown, Battletown. We know how we are. We know it. So this was a
When.
nice thing. When, right? This was a nice thing, and I hope people are getting closer to each other, especially in the different chapters. Like, if you get to finally meet someone that is in your same area, or you even find, maybe like this, you're going to even find out someone that you'll be talking to sometimes that it's actually close to you and you didn't know before. I think it's a good way to also increase that kind of engagement between people and get more people to also meet outside of Discord. And I just want to remind everyone that if you're in Europe on July 27th, there's going to be an European community event in Madrid. It seems like there is a good amount of participation. Tina told me that it's going to look pretty cool. I'm going to be there too. If you can, just sign up. There is a form. Just check Tina on Twitter, or even Wagmi-san actually tweeted about it like past week, 2 weeks ago. Sorry, and come, because in real life events are the best events. I love in real life events, so don't miss it if you can.
Don't miss it if you can. And jump into the Discord and let's get a logo selected for North America, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and Europe. Europe's funny. I'll give you that, guys. You guys are funny. Okay, guys, let's wrap this up. So, just high level thoughts. Had a lot of fun with the debate. I think I'm seeing a lot of positive comments from everybody. And so, guys, thank you everybody that listened and watched. Once again, check us out on YouTube as well, because that's where you get the full experience. Twitter Spaces are great, and we're going to continue to do this. But we always recommend you guys to just try YouTube and see if you like what you see, because I think you might. And hopefully we'll see you in the comments here as well, because we read every comment. So that's the show for today. A special damn Monday. Maybe any you wanna sign off?
Yeah, I can sign off. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching or listening on Twitter. This was amazing. Don't forget to vote for the Apecoin DAO and subscribe on the Dev Show. Like,
and
follow us on
follow the
Twitter.
account. Do all
Do
the things.
all of the
Do all the
things
things.
that would in any way possibly support us, even if it's something that you think doesn't mean anything. It means the word to us. So
Even
thank you so
comments
much
like this.
again.
Jesus right there. Thanks, guys. Obvious love and effort. It's about the journey. Magic
Thank
said,
you.
wow, look, live review. YouTube was 10 times better. Subscribed. Thanks again. We appreciate you, Magic. See, we are not
Thank you.
biased. I think we maybe know what we're talking about, but we'll see you on Twitter Space or YouTube, either one. Guys, voting closes for Apecoin Wednesday, 9 p.m. There's a bunch of spaces. It's going to be spicy like it always is. I think we set the tone for spiciness, and everybody else that saw the show afterwards is going to be like, oh, we got to ramp up the spice. And so this is just the beginning. Take care, everybody. Thank you, everybody, and have yourselves a good evening. Bye.